Justin DeRazio with 94 WIP. My guest today is the recipient of ESPN's Match of the Year in back-to-back years, 2023 versus Kenny Omega and 2024 versus Bryan Danielson. He is Sports Illustrated's number 5 of the top 10 wrestlers in both 2022 and 2023. He is the aerial assassin. He is AEW star Will Ospreay. Will, thank you so much for being here. And how are you finding Philly so far?
Mate, it's lovely. For the first time in my life, I had a Philly cheesesteak.
Really?
Yeah, man. Not what I was expecting, I'll be honest with you, but like amazing taste, like real good stuff.
So is this your first time here?
No, I've been here for like 4 or 5 times, but okay. Like, I'll be honest with you, I like come in and I just stay in my hotel room and like I don't really leave or do anything until, because like I normally just land, I want to get a little bit of rest, and then the day after, like I'm wrestling. And then as soon as I'm done wrestling, so normally I'm at the arena or whatever venue I'm at all day, and then I'll go back to the hotel exhausted, and I'll just fly out. So like I never really get a chance to explore or do anything, and I'm fine with that. But like this time round, they flew me in a little bit early because they wanted to do a bunch of media stuff, which I love doing. I love promoting AEW. I love talking about it. But I just got round and he said, "Let's go get a Philly cheesesteak." I was like, "Yes, son. Let's go get a Philly cheesesteak."
Where'd you go?
At the market, then
Reading Terminal Market.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they have a ton of options there.
Mate, there's a lot in there. It's overwhelming,
nearly,
but yeah,
a little bit. I mean, there's cheesesteaks, there's ice cream, there's deli meats, there's everything.
He wanted to show me some donuts as well, but I was like, mate, I cannot eat any more food.
They said you had a lot of willpower. You were looking at the tasty cakes out there.
Mate, I'm trying my hardest right now. I can't even joke. Like I'm doing my best to actually be more of an athlete than an artist, eh?
So you haven't had a match for AEW in Philly before, but have you wrestled in Philly before?
Yeah, I've done the old ECW Arena a fair few times. Like I've done some stuff with Ring of Honor over here. I've done some stuff with New Japan Strong over here. I'm sure I've done an indie over here. I'm just not entirely sure which one, but like Philly's always been like a laugh, eh? Everyone's like super passionate. Everyone just like enjoys pro wrestling over here. It's like got such a great history, great fan base. For the first time, AEW's going to be doing a pay-per-view over here, and I just think, like the lineage and the history that becomes with like Philadelphia wrestling fans, it's only fair that AEW does a pay-per-view over here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so excited for Dynasty on Sunday. I remember you guys came here for Dynamite 2 years ago now, and all my friends and I thought this has to be seeing if a pay-per-view would do well here. I mean, it was sold out. It was awesome. Okada was here before he actually signed with AEW, but he was here to wrestle Bryan in a tag match, which was a ton of fun. I'm so happy that you guys finally made it out here for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, man. And it's going to be a good one with Swerve and Mox in the main event. That's going to be a huge one going, like Tony Storm and Megan Bayne. I'm fascinated with the women right now. So, like, it's got, like, a real good card going in, and now everyone's going for the Owen Hart Tournament Cup. So I think the excitement's ready, and everyone's, like, gunning now for All In as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the Owen Hart Tournament. But before we do that, I don't usually have the chance to nerd out with anybody at work here because we're a sports radio station, but I'm really excited to talk to you about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, buddy.
Obviously, you based a lot of your persona on the Assassin's Creed franchise, the games. Tell me a little bit about your history with those games and like the Hidden Blade.
So my history with it was like when I first started wrestling training, my coach Greg Burridge was just like, you need something to now, like you can do all the moves, you can do all that, but you need something that connects with the audience. You need something that people can, because he always says you have 6 seconds to get a crowd's attention, because we've all got like TikTok brain these days and like we're not really focusing, right? We've got 6 seconds. So then I thought, like, the moment you walk through the curtain, I want people to understand what I'm going through. At first, I came up with a boy band idea about being I get 3 other lads and we'd be like Backstreet Boys. And we do like some dancing. And Greg went, "We are not doing Backstreet Boys. You're too good." So unfortunately, I had to no. But I really started enjoying playing the Assassin's Creed games. I can't remember who put me over to it, but like I played Revelations, which was like the 3rd installment of the game, technically 4th. But in reality wise, it was like the 3rd game, right? And it was the perfect game for me because there was like a backstory attached to it. There was like Altair was like in there as well.
Yeah, it wrapped around the first game.
Yeah, so then that way I was like, oh, there's a first game. So then I went back and played the first, then played the second, then played Brotherhood, and then like, so then I was like infatuated with the game. So I was just like, oh, okay, I get it now. I understand, and I love the parkour. I kind of like associate myself with it, and Ezio was just like such a G. Like he was such a cool character to play with, the accent, the mannerisms, just the aura surrounding
Yeah.
the guy was just like fascinating to me. Then all the other games just slapped. It was just fire game after fire game after fire game. So like I wanted to be like the Assassin's Creed, and at the time like I didn't have the money to really like get the real nice jacket, so I just bought like the eBay cosplay coats, and I would just cut the sleeves off, and people understood what I was going for. Oh, he's Assassin's Creed, right? So that's what I kind of went with, and it's just stuck with me my entire career. I tried to get away from it like when I was on the indies because I wanted like more rougher. But it always came back to me because I had this like amazing tie to the game.
So you were using the cosplay jackets as your entrance gear?
Yeah. Back in like Progress and Rev Pro, like that's what I would wear.
That's so cool. I remember like getting like the cosplay, like Hidden Blade and everything as a kid and just being like so excited. But you were actually like putting that towards your career, putting that towards your future. That is so cool.
Yeah, and the thing is for me is like I never would have imagined that it would come full circle. So then like it was my last match at the Tokyo Dome for New Japan. My boy Farbod, who's like one of my guys, he connects with everybody, he just knows everybody. He hooked up like Assassin's Creed, and they was just kind of like, oh, we can use this and use that, and then it was like you can use the Assassin's Creed Syndicate song.
Yeah.
So we done like a Jack the Ripper style entrance, and it got mad views, like it got crazy views on him. And then they were like, there's something to this, and then with the game Shadows coming out, it was like the perfect tie-in because of the Japan history and then my history with Japan and my history with the game. We just tied it all together, and then there was just, it's just taken off. It's just been such a beautiful relationship since then.
And that's how obviously at All In last year at Wembley Stadium, you were able to have that amazing Assassin's Creed Shadows entrance.
I could not believe how lucky I was. It was
Your
just the
gear was
moment.
so sick.
Because like he said, what do you want from this? Like, and I said, if I'm being an assassin, I want Ezio to like put me in there. And I said, like, I don't know what it would cost. I don't know how it would do it. And they just reached out, and then like by like a week or two went by, like I got all these like voice clips sent to me, and he was doing the accent, and he was like doing it. So I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. I don't think it worked, because when I met up with him afterwards, like he didn't really understand what it was. And then when he saw it at Wembley with all the entrants coming together and the crowd like going nuts, like 50,000 people like chanting my name, it was just like, it was a genuine moment in time where I thought like I won. Like I did everything. Like I stuck to a game plan. I never like was like not committed to this. Like this has been like my commitment. I've never like cut anyone down. I always was like a good boy to everybody, and then this has just kind of come full circle for me, and I just couldn't believe how lucky I was. Like I generally felt at that moment like I've actually carved out a little part in wrestling history, and my name is in there, like some guy from Essex. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe how lucky I was.
So what was it like to meet the voice of Ezio,
mate?
Roger Craig Smith.
Crazy, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I would fanboy as much as I did, because like I'm not really that much of a person where they go like, oh, do you want to meet him? I was just kind of like, oh yeah, okay. But then when it like came to it, and he was in that room, and I saw him on the TV, I was like, oh my god, like this is the guy that actually like made my career in a weird way. Like that, the voice and the character, like he actually made me. So like I have so much to owe to him, and we had this incredible moment where we're just sitting there and talking as like human being to human being, and just like I'm so grateful for him, and he was so grateful to me. And I just thought like I didn't come with anything. So then I got on the phone to my wife, and I was just like, babe, I'm begging you, the jacket is in the garage. Can you like put it in an Uber? And I got him to sign the jacket, and
that's awesome.
I got him to wear it as well. We like wore the jacket. He was like walking around it. It was mind-blowing stuff.
Surreal.
And then I found out he was Sonic the Hedgehog, which was like mad. Like,
I can't believe you didn't know he was Sonic.
No, and neither did I. But it was like, yeah, I've done Sonic. I went, you were Sonic? And he went, I am Sonic. And he just like, and he done the voice. I was like, I'd need to tell my kid this right now. Like I met Sonic the Hedgehog.
And then what did your son say when you told him you met Sonic the Hedgehog?
But like he was like, it's not actually.
Like,
you know, it's a 6-year-old. You know what I mean? It's like it's a 6-year-old. It's like he's not blue.
Well, let's go back a little bit to AEW All In. You were just talking about your Assassin's Creed Shadows entrance, which was phenomenal. But your feud with MJF going into All In, the 60-minute match on Dynamite, was that the longest match in your career?
Ever.
Ever.
Like I've never wrestled for an hour before. Like the longest that I did at that point, 1-on-1 was against Shingo in Japan during the pandemic. It was like a 47-minute, but like that's just 1-on-1. I've wrestled for an hour in New Japan, but like it was there was like flipping 10 of us, so like we could all share the times and stuff like that. So I didn't really mind that. But 1-on-1, and you have to engage a crowd for an hour is stressful, like really stressful.
And
at
open the show with it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, at the time I was going through like the loss of my nan, like my grandmother passed away. So I really wasn't in the best of headspaces with this, and it was a minefield to navigate through that. But like, I have to credit Max because he's such a great engager. He knows how to engage the crowd at all points. He knows how to like dictate the pace and ensure that everyone is enjoying like this match. And like that last 10 minutes of the match, I felt like I was sprinting at that point. So it was a real test of my endurance. I remember getting backstage and looking at Tony and being like, please never put me in a 60-minute match again.
And that's Max's second 60-minute match in AEW.
Yeah, and like, man, credit to him. Like, fair play, man.
Yeah. I going into to All In after losing that match against Max for the international title, and then obviously he turns it into the U.S. title, kind of mocking you in your home country. What was it like to then get that rematch at Wembley against a former AEW World Champion, have the crowd chanting your name, and just kind of take that title back?
Mate, it was one of the craziest experiences that I've ever been a part of, just because like when you're in there with... I said this to my missus, and like it's moments like after Wembley when it's all quieted down and you can re-watch it. And I generally had like tears in my eyes because I was just like, I've carved out like a piece for me. And it's just like, there's 50,000 people in there, right? So there's a good percentage of people that like probably knew about me but never have seen me, right? But I think there would be a larger percentage where it was like, I've probably performed in venues in like social clubs and working men's clubs in front of 50 people that were in that stadium that saw me when I was 18 years old, like for the first time, and have followed my career ups and downs, and they were in that building to support me and like make sure that like they had my back. And I was so grateful to just be in that moment where I was just like, I generally felt like at that moment in time, like the British wrestlers that come out to your mind, when you think of like the greatest British wrestlers that have ever came to your mind, like British Bulldog's the first one that comes to my mind. Next one's like Dynamite Kid. The other one's like William Regal. And then if you really want to go down it, you can think of people like Zack Sabre Jr. as like the greatest technical wrestler that's ever lived. You can think about like Pete Dunne. But like now, like I do think like I'm up there. I'm up there with some of the great British wrestlers that have ever lived. And I can't believe it's me. And I'm just grateful. I'm like super grateful.
I really liked how you were able to carry the weight and the finish of the Bryan Danielson match at Dynasty in 2024 into the story with Max and the feud for the international title. What went into that decision, or how do you wrap around bringing in the finish of one match directly into the storyline of the next one like that?
I think it's just a lot of long-term thinking because, like, once again, there's a lot of moves that happen in wrestling these days, and they're just like, I think a lot of people like. Do you remember once upon a time the Canadian Destroyer was like the craziest flipping move? But like now it just gets like everyone does it. Everyone does a Canadian Destroyer. It is an easy move to do. So for me, like the Tiger Driver is generally like a very dangerous move, and like I don't enjoy doing it all the time. But I used to spam that in Japan. I used to just do it quite a lot, and like I would do it on the indies all the time. And I really would have liked to have done a move where it's just kind of like, I am only bringing this out when it is just like desperate. So like when it came to the Bryan Danielson match, I would really like to just like, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea where it's just kind of like, oh, we're scared to hit a move. It's just kind of like, I wanted to see, like, I hit it on a guy that I consider my hero, that does have neck issues, that does have all these things, and I just didn't get, I was just like, yep, Tiger Driver, let's do it. And then when we played off that emotion of just like, I hurt somebody that I generally care about and generally like have so much respect and admiration for that I couldn't even look at afterwards because I was ashamed of myself for doing it. It then creates that urge with the fan base to be like, just hit it. just hit it. And like when it came to Max plays such a despisable person that like you justify the reason for like wanting to snap this dude's neck.
Yeah.
So like that's why like, and that's the thing that I say to people, right? Where like a pile driver is dangerous, but the biggest thing is you got these big fires that can protect people's necks. It like locks people's necks in place, so it's just a compression on the spine. Same with Canadian Destroyer. Same with a J Driller. There's no way I can protect the guy. I just pick the guy up and I just let go, and it's their free fall. There is no way I can physically protect them. It is generally like the most dangerous move. It's up there with the Vertebreaker, the Burning Hammer. It was like banned from American TV for years because it was just a dangerous move. Like people didn't want to take it and it was too risky. I brought it to the forefront and I wanted to tell people that like this is a very dangerous move that should not be taken lightly and just should not be spammed around.
Yeah, and you 100% did that. The first time I heard of the move was from you. Was between, I believe, you versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, when I hit it on there, and that's the thing, like the story behind that all as well, because like people forget Kenny kicked out of that move, but then it was shortly afterwards, like I was able to do it, and that's the way I was able to like be able to like create that moment where like I was able to beat Kenny because I hit him with the most dangerous move, but then afterwards he had nothing left in the tank. And people remember that, and people were frightened by it because of the way he landed. And like once again, there is no way to protect yourself on that move. It is a sheer drop.
I remember that was like all anybody in the wrestling community was talking about at that time was Kenny stretching his neck out for weeks to prepare for that, and then just the controversy around it. But the way that you've been able to kind of take that controversy outside of wrestling and bring it into the story of the move, into the character, it's been really, really interesting to watch.
I appreciate it because I know it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Those type of stories where like, oh, wrestlers are scared to hit his own move, and it's just like, it's not that I was scared to hit a move. I just didn't want to like hurt anyone.
Yeah,
I come across as I'm a very much like a golden retriever energy. Like I have this bright, bubbly personality, and once upon a time I wasn't. Like there was like that story with Kenny. Like people don't understand. Like he came over to Japan, which is the place that made his name, the place that really represented himself there. They made Kenny Omega, Japan.
Yeah.
And then he came back, he left Japan. I had to take all the burden. I took all the work. And especially in a pandemic era, he came in and he wiped the floor with me. So it made my character like vengeful, and it made it just like angry. I couldn't handle it anymore. So then that's why like I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to do damage to him. And that's why I went into the resources of Misawa, because that was the move that he would hit on people to like end them. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why like I wanted to go down that route. But then when I came into AEW, it's this new lease of life. Like I'm happy, I'm joyful to be here. Like, and I think that's the one thing I wanted to do with AEW, because I feel like a lot of people like took advantage of AEW, and I wanted to be kind of like, I want to be the captain. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to come in and with the right attitude and the right way of presenting myself in a way like this is the new way. Like I could have gone anywhere. I really could have gone anywhere. I wanted to come here with the mindset of like, I'm not taking this place as second fiddle. This is my main source of work. This is what I want everybody to inspire, and anyone from this point on, this is the bar that you need to hit. And I feel like I've done that, and I feel like the team that I am around are doing that. Like we're all like wanting to push AEW in the right direction.
Yeah, and you say you want to be the captain of AEW, of course, and one could say that the captain of a wrestling promotion is their champion. And you've now entered into the Owen Hart tournament, the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and the winner of this will, of course, get a championship opportunity against either Jon Moxley or Swerve Strickland. We'll figure out how that ends at Dynasty on Sunday. What would it mean to you to be the world champion, to be the captain of AEW?
For me, I have longed and wanted that responsibility of being the guy for years, and I don't think I have the maturity to have done that. In the recent years, like I've become like a stepdad. I've become a parent, and I'm really good at it, and I'm enjoying it, and I am loving seeing this little kid grow up in front of my eyes. This woman that has given me a brand new lease of life, and I am very passionate towards wanting to be the best example for them. And now I understand that responsibility of being in this position and being the guy. For me now, it's now like I feel the crowd are white hot with me. Every arena that I go in, the moment the beginning beats of my music hit, the they stand and they start bouncing. Everyone's having a good time, and I feel their energy and I feel their want and desire to be the guy. Like, and the thing is like, I don't know what that looks like. I have no idea what it takes to be the guy. So educate me, tell me what I need to do, and I'll lead as best as I can. But I feel it right now. I feel like right now I'm performing at my best. I'm working within my prime. And I think if you asked the audience of AEW, who do you trust with the world title? I think a lot of them would say me.
I think you're right. I think what made me a fan of yours was after your match with Swerve Strickland. I'm going to be honest. I don't watch a lot of wrestling outside of the U.S. So my introduction to you is through AEW, not through New Japan. And what made me a fan of yours was your match with Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. And going into that match, I remember just talking to all my friends, everybody in my family, saying, I don't know who the hell's taking a pin in this. And then a quote.
But that's what makes wrestling exciting.
And that's what makes it exciting. And I'll never forget watching that match with my two cousins, who I believe it was their first pay-per-view ever. And to watch that main event with them was so amazing. To see them just, their jaws drop at the Styles Clash, and everything that you guys were doing was incredible. But the quote you had after that match, where you said something to the effect of, nobody should be scared of taking a pin from the champion. That's what made me a fan of you, because that showed me that you were willing to work and you were willing to wait for a title when a lot of people kind of believed you were going to come into AEW and just immediately take the jetpack to the top. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can see why people do think that, but that's not me. I'm very much along the lines of I am a team player, and like I don't think it was my time yet. And I think in those moments, it's not my decision to make those type of calls. I don't think anyone should be making those calls other than the boss.
Yeah.
So in that moment, for me, it's like I'm not going out there to be like, I'm just trying to do my best by what AEW is. And for me, Swerve Strickland was the guy. And how'd you make him the guy is by the teammates all forming around and pushing it in that direction. I think that should be done with any world champion, any type of sport. I don't think there should be any type of bad takes towards it. I just think it is just a case of like, if this is our world champion, then we all need to be teammates for it. Like football terminology is just kind of like, I would love to score the winning penalty for England, but like it might not be the case that I'm taking the penalty. I might need to like lay up the corner, and I need to like get the through ball in there. And I think that's the main thing right now, is just like I'm very much along the lines of a team mentality, and I think everyone in AEW now fully understands that we are a team. We have the uphill momentum right now. We are really rolling. The TVs have been great. The pay-per-views are always outstanding. And we are all leading towards this one big moment in Texas right now. I mean, obviously, look, we're Dynasty. This is where the road starts right now. We're in Philadelphia, in one of the most passionate wrestling crowds that have ever lived. Dating back to ECW, to Ring of Honor, and now AEW, which is a wrestling dominant company, are now coming to Philadelphia. And we are all gunning towards this beautiful moment in a stadium, and our backs up against the wall. The truth is, this is generally the truth, people don't want AEW to succeed. They don't. It is our job as talent, as staff, people working the trucks, people in catering, to all come together and ensure that moment in AEW All In is us putting our flag in the ground and saying we are here for good now. So let's all get on the right page, and like I'm excited for it. I know the fans are excited for it, and I can feel the momentum is on our side now.
So let's talk more about Dynasty on Sunday.
Yes,
obviously, it's the first stop of the Owen Hart tournament. You'll be facing Kevin Knight. As a new member of the AEW roster, what can you tell me about Knight?
So Kevin Knight was over in New Japan. He was a part of the LA dojo, which was Shibata's group of lads. Pardon me. And I always was a fan. I would sit in the United Empire dressing room and would watch his junior tag matches with Kushida, or any time that he was in a ring, and he just stood out. He's got a beautiful face, beautiful body, likable personality. And then when I heard that he was coming over to AEW, I heard Jay White say some amazing things about him, and they're all true. That they've got so much riding on him. He could easily be a top guy in like 3 years' time if he really applies himself. That moment where I'm tagging with him, and we do this crisscross dive. and I decided to go through the ropes. He leaped over the flipping thing, and he had more spring than maybe that I've ever had. Like, I feel like I would need to date back to when I was 24 years old to have those type of jumps. So then to look at that and be like, oh man, like, maybe you're more athletic than I am. So I might even need to go back into my old catalogue of being a junior heavyweight, or I need to go into like my old Commonwealth Kingpin manner of what I did with Kenny Omega, and I just need to chop this guy down. But Kevin, for me, has a lot of potential, has a huge prospect for what AEW could be. He has right now been dropped in the ocean with a great white shark, and I can't wait to see how he swims.
To see him make his AEW roster debut against Jay White and then immediately go to a pay-per-view against Will Ospreay tells me that AEW really believes a lot in this prospect. And I'm excited to see what this match on Sunday's like.
I think, honestly, the bar is super low with him because not many people know what he can do.
Yeah.
I know what he can do. So I feel like because that bar is so low and the expectation is going to be like here, we're going to top it. And I think by the end of that night, everyone's going to be going, this kid has got something incredible.
Awesome. When I was prepping for this interview, I was going through a lot of your old matches, trying to decide what my favorite match of yours in AEW was. And what I've realized is it's a lot harder to narrow down your best match in AEW than it is a lot of your opponents.
There's too many.
All of your opponents' matches in AEW, their best matches are against you. Fletcher's best match is against you. My opinion, Okada's best match is against you. My opinion, Danielson's best match is against you. I can't imagine what that's like to be, despite not being the world champion yet, to be the top guy in that company.
I call it the curse of the standard, because I've set such a bar of it now that like if I fall short of the bar, people will be like, "What, is that it?" So
yeah.
like it's very difficult, and it does weigh a lot on my brain sometimes, because like I keep trying to say like, okay, how do I outdo this? How do I outdo this? But the reality is now, like, I can have those thoughts of how do I outdo this, when reality all I just need to do is just go like, okay, I'm just going to do me. I don't try and think about how I can outdo Swerve. I don't think about how I can outdo Tony. I just go, hey, I'm just going to do me. And so far, everyone seems to be enjoying what I can bring to the table. I think this is going to be like really telling in the years to come of like, can I bear that responsibility of a world champion? And so far, I think I can.
You just finished up a series of matches against Kyle Fletcher. What was it like to go against a former ally like Kyle Fletcher? And then I believe that third match, the steel cage match, was your first time in a steel cage, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like in one of those like proper American steel cages.
Yeah.
So like we done like a dog pound cage match in New Japan, and I done like a cage match in England, but it wasn't like a real cage.
Yeah.
It was like it's an alright cage. It just wasn't a American style steel cage, and like. For me, it was super intimidating because I've never performed to a crowd of that size with something in between me and the fans. So I was wondering how I engage the audience, because I'm very much along the lines of I'll do something, I'll look at the crowd and be like,
yeah,
let's go. Because once it's a concert, they're my instruments, and if I don't have them with me, like I don't know how it looks, I don't know how it feels. So that was the first time I really felt challenged, and I felt like uncomfortable because I didn't know what to expect. But when you're in there with Kyle, which like I know Kyle knows me, we're both these type of people that want to give everything and we want to leave it all out there, and which is why we end up jumping off a flipping 20-foot cage. So like it's always scary, and it's always those moments, but it's a moment in time where once that dust settled and we walked away, both alive, both good, feeling it, but both good.
Yeah.
And you sit there, and then everyone just goes, that was the greatest steel cage match ever. And I can't tell them they're wrong, because like I didn't do any homework on any type. There wasn't like a cage match that I watched and was kind of like trying to take ideas from or anything. I just like kind of remember certain matches. Like I remember TNA AJ versus Abyss. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I remember it, but I didn't watch it or study it. I just like felt the environment and just wanted to leave people by going like, and you know, honestly, for me as well, I think that when I done that Spanish Fly, I think that was me writing a letter to AEW being like, that's how committed I am.
Yeah.
That's my commitment. Like I'm willing to give my body to ensure AEW's future. And I think that is why generally there is that sense of going like, we trust you. Because I feel like a lot of people have come into AEW and abused that trust. I'm not going to abuse that trust with the audience.
When you're on top of the cage, staring at Kyle, right?
I was pooing my pants.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to ask, what goes through your mind at that point?
Don't die.
How do I get down?
Don't die. Mate, there was one point, I'm not even joking, where I was up there, and I was like, my heart was beating so much, because I generally thought to myself, like, one of us is going to get really badly hurt here. Because it's AEW steel cages are, like, way bigger. But, like, it was like, phone was, like, looking at the audience, like, phone was out recording, phone was out recording, phone was out recording, phone was out recording. And then there was this one guy in a green shirt looking up being like, don't die, don't die, don't die. So I was like, he's down there. Like, I'm up here, man. Like, you need to, like, film me with some type of confidence.
I just think that's after people watch Tony Storm and Mariah May have one of the bloodiest matches ever. They go from match to match hoping, I can't believe these guys are going to kill each other.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just... But I think that's what I like about AEW as well, just because, like, you saw blood in one place doesn't mean it's the last time you're going to see blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's where I kind of be like, anything can happen. We live in this realm now where just kind of like, there are no rules. There are certain written rules in wrestling that we kind of like, okay, like, there are no rules with AEW. We throw them out the window. Like, we are not following any type of landscape of what, like, there was a quote that I writ down on my phone, because AEW is far from traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a quote, and I love this quote, and it says, tradition is peer pressure from dead people. They're not here anymore, man. Let's write our own tradition in AEW. So this is for me, this is us rewriting history in wrestling. So if anyone has that mindset now, everyone has that mindset of just being like, screw tradition.
So screwing tradition. On April 18th, in a couple weeks, you guys, AEW Dynamite, will officially be televised, syndicated, longer than WCW Nitro. So you'll be the second longest running weekly wrestling show ever. What does that mean to you to be a part of that? And kind of, like you said, like resetting tradition.
I hold that with pride, because once again, like, that was such a crazy moment in wrestling where, like, so many people long for that era to come back.
Yeah.
Long for, like, that era of just kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? And it's just kind of like, and for years it was just one company, and now we're just like, there's two again. Like, could you imagine if there was 3, 4, 5? Like, could you imagine, like, the landscape would be like dramatically different. But like, the fact is like, I fly that flag for AEW, and I'm proud of that. But I don't want that to be like, hey, we did it. Like, we need to keep our foot on the gas pedal and continue to find new gears. Because the moment that we get complacent, we might as well be dead.
I love that. The goal is not to pass WCW. The goal is to be
I could not care less. Like, I mean, look, if this is a giant double birds to Eric for the horrendous things that he says on a weekly basis about AEW, just like, okay, like, I feel like Tony has got that right and is justified for putting both of those fingers up. If that's generally what he wants to do, that's not what I want to do. If that's what he wants to do, he's my boss. He's allowed to do that. Do you know what I mean? He pays my bills.
Yeah.
But, like, my main mission isn't to be like, let's surpass WCW. My main mission is to be like, I want AEW here for like 50 years. I want one of these days my son to wrestle in AEW.
Yeah.
So like that, it's like New Japan Pro Wrestling has been running for like 53 years now, I think. So 53 years. I want AEW to be running for 53 years. And to do that, it takes work from the entire roster. So this isn't about, let's celebrate, we're the second longest running. It's like, okay, cool, let's keep going until we're the longest.
I love that you're already thinking in a generational sense, thinking about how you want your son to kind of follow in your footsteps and wrestle in AEW.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, he could not care any less about wrestling
really?
right now.
He doesn't watch it?
He just like, he doesn't watch it with me. He doesn't really, like, every now and again something will pop up, and he would like. There was one time he was like playing with his toys, and I was watching this match that I had with Josh Alexander on the TV screen. Uh-huh. I swear to you, he's playing with his toys. He looks up at one point, and like I do like the coast to coast with like a springboard, and he goes, "Oh!" And I like looking at him, is like, "Is this it? Is this the moment? Is he going to be a wrestler?" And he goes, starts playing with his toys again. Like, you know what I mean? So like, he hasn't had that moment of like, okay, like I'm interested. Like, what is this? Like, I think when I start bringing him to work soon, I think he'll understand it a little bit more, because like he's asking questions already. He's going like, "What is AEW?" Because like all of his school friends know about it.
Oh,
so like,
okay.
yeah, there was a moment in school where after the cage match, because I was away for like 10 days, so I came back and I picked him up from school, and he does this thing where like him and his mates like run off and they run to the school gate and they wait for us there because I can't keep up with him anymore. I'll be honest with you, he outruns me on a daily basis. But like he was having a conversation with his mates and I couldn't hear it, and he was going like, blah, 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 and I heard cage match. So his friends are watching it, and then I heard that, and he just goes, "Oh, it's just my dad." And it's like, I don't know, it's not the first time he ever called me dad, but it's the first time he's called me dad in like a situation where like he's around his friends, around the other parents. So like, it kind of meant a lot to me, man. Like stuff like that really weighs on my heart. So
That's amazing.
yeah, man, I love that kid so much.
I think the most popular shirt in wrestling right now has to be the Bruv jersey. I was at Full Gear and I couldn't get my hands on one.
So from now on, we are not this one, but I think Double or Nothing and all the other pay-per-views, we are going to find like the local team's colors, and we're going to copy it. So then like there's going to be individual Bruv jerseys, and like they're going to have their own color scheme. So like I'm really excited for that.
Are you doing that for like the
Only the pay-per-views, I think.
for the pay-per-view cities, but for the American football teams or like the clubs of
don't
because like we do have a soccer team here.
Yeah, I think I might be going there tomorrow. Maybe, yeah. I think I'm going to the soccer game
The
tomorrow.
Union?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my first actual
MLS
football. Yeah, it'll be my first football game that I've ever attended. So like the fact that I get to go over there, that's going to be really cool.
So wait, you've never attended
I've never attended a football game in my life.
even in England?
No, never.
That's incredible.
No,
That's kind of crazy that your first one's going to be an MLS Union.
I know, that's mad for me. So like I do feel like a little bit ashamed of myself for doing it, but
yeah.
like I just never really got round to it. I love wrestling too much. Like
Yeah.
all my weekends were wrestling in nightclubs and in working men's clubs. I never got the chance to go and do it. Like the fact that like Kyle, when he was living with me, saw a football game way before I've seen a football game, has always made me laugh. Like I've never just got round to it, and I'm fine with it.
Your boss owns a football team. He's never.
I've asked him.
Okay, I want to say he's never asked you to attend.
I've asked him. I would be like, "Can I go to one?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I'd love you to." Like I don't know when they're on.
So real quick, so there won't be themed Bruv jerseys at this pay-per-view.
Not this one, but I think
the
all the
next ones.
pay-per-views that we're doing from now on, they're going to be doing that, and I'm really some of the concepts that they've sent me are really, really cool. I love them.
You got to come back to Philly for another pay-per-view because I need an Eagles themed. Bruv
Yeah, I like someone said that about
Yeah.
like the Eagles over here. So I think it's like black, green, and silver.
black and green. Yeah,
Yeah, black, green, and silver. I think the colors are. So we'll be definitely doing that.
that's gonna be awesome. The term dream match is thrown around a lot in AEW, usually with your name on one half of it. Are there any dream matches that you haven't had the chance to have yet in AEW?
The one thing that I've been trying to do right now is so like AJ Styles is my.
That would be so awesome.
I mean, look, like, I doubt it will happen. I very, very, very much doubt it happen. But there's always hope, right? But like my career path is kind of following in his footsteps and ideology of what wrestling looks like. So I would love to find his shadows, and I've wrestled Christopher Daniels, I've wrestled Pete Williams, I've wrestled all those like TNA guys. Comes Chris Sabin. I've wrestled a lot of the TNA guys. There is one name, and I would say that's his biggest shadow that I've never wrestled. Samoa Joe. I've never wrestled and he's here, and he done an interview a little while ago that he doesn't see himself wrestling that much longer. I would really love that. That's something that I've always wanted to do. And I feel like that's something that would be really like a real clash of styles.
Yeah.
So that's something that excites me. But like, I don't want it to just be like a random match. I want build because I want to be tested on the microphone. I want my physicality tested, more importantly. And I just want to see what it looks like because I have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're able to win the Owen Hart tournament, go on to All In and become the new AEW champion, there is no doubt in my mind that former
Joe would
AEW
be coming for me,
yeah,
mate.
former champion Samoa Joe is gonna be knocking on your door.
Gun me down, boss man.
Yeah.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready.
That'll be awesome. Got a couple more questions for you, I believe.
Sure.
Bryan Danielson. I want to talk about Bryan Danielson. Your match at Dynasty last year. That was the most electric I've ever seen a crowd before a match started. I've never seen anything like that. What was going through your head just standing on the opposite side of the ring from Bryan and hearing the crowd chant your name like that?
I've said this in a few interviews, but sometimes it doesn't get picked up on. I never imagined that I'd be in the ring with Bryan Danielson ever. But I stood opposite him, and I had this real moment of like, oh my God, like I'm one of those guys now. Like I've become like, do you remember when like Bryan Danielson and Kenny stood in the ring? Bell rung, crowd stood up, right? That happens sometimes, like when AJ Styles faced Prince Devitt at WWE, right? Like those moments where I was like, damn, like I never thought I'd ever see this. It's like Bullet Club Leader versus Bullet Club Leader, like Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega, and it's like I never imagined like I'd ever be one of those guys. And then here I was standing there, and they were going, holy shit, like, and I stood there, and he's smiling, and I just looked at him, and I just had to say it at that moment. I just had to, because I'm not going to get the chance to say it afterwards. I just looked at him and said, sir, this is going to be a pleasure. And then I just stood back. And then the moment that bell rung, I just like, I felt the energy in the room, and I just wanted it to be like, all right, the World Cup final starts right now, man. Like this is it. This is my penalty for the World Cup.
To have that match not even be a main event of a pay-per-view, to me shows how strong the AEW roster is, right? That you guys are able to have banger after banger after banger, and that's not even the main event.
Yeah.
And the main event that night, which by the way was Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe, was awesome.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people when that match happened were like, please don't let me go on after it. Please don't let me go on after it.
Yeah.
It's just like, but I find that super complimentary that everyone is just like scared to follow me. But it's just kind of like, I believe in all the roster to be like, no, you can follow me. Like anyone can follow me. You've got to go for it. Like, do you know I wanted to sidetrack quickly. Like one of the greatest matches where I was kind of like, when me and Kenny faced Kyle and Takeshita at Australia.
Yes.
I was like, Tony and Mariah are going to knock this out of the park, and I can just feel it in the air. I was just like, that's like solid proof that is just kind of like, if you believe in the story that you guys are told, you believe in your abilities, and you believe like two women going out there and smashing it out of the park, it's just like this. It's no different. But like Brian for me was just, I just never thought I'd ever get this opportunity. Like I watched you retire. I cried, dude. Like when you retired, I cried. And when he came back, it was like, well, they're going to be the only place that are going to be like physically able to treat him if anything did go wrong, or if it like they're the only place that can clear him, so they're probably the only place that can treat him. And when he came to AEW, I was like, there's hope. And when it's finally here and it's in front of you, you just, I don't know, you can't really put into words like what's going on in front. I was just like, damn, I'm in the ring with a guy that I never would have imagined that this.
Yeah.
And I finally felt like I'm on that level now. I'm on that level now where like I can safely say like I'm one of the best in the world, and I hold that with great pride and great honor.
People talk a lot about wrestling soulmates when we think about like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Do you think that you've found your wrestling soulmate yet? Because you've had so many amazing opponents. It's kind of hard for me to pick one. Like I think of Kenny, I think of Okada. It's hard for me to find one opponent that is your soulmate, or Fletcher even recently.
I mean, yeah, like I think Fletcher might be one as well. Shingo might be one as well. Shingo Takagi taught me so much in Japan, where like we had so many incredible series of matches. Like I generally think that. I couldn't say Kenny is my soulmate because we've only done 2 matches. Well, we've done 3, but like realistically we've done 2.
Yeah.
Like, so I couldn't honestly tell you, but I would say Okada and Kyle are probably my closest soulmates of pro wrestling.
I feel like Kyle Fletcher is someone that wasn't on a lot of people's radars until your feud, and ever since then is someone I'm always keeping tabs on.
I think a lot of things that I want a lot of people to look at what Kyle has done, because like if there's this whole like notion of just like that people hate losing, right?
Yeah.
Kyle was brought in as a tag team wrestler, part of Aussie Open, which was, by the way, one of the greatest tag teams of this era. Unfortunately, Davis got hurt, and Kyle just was given loss after loss after loss. But basically, all they were just doing is going like, "We see something in you. We see something in you. We see something in you." And one of these days, you're going to get a nugget.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get a crack of an opening, and it's down to you whether if you want to rip that door open or not. A lot of people would just be like, if it's there, it's there. I give Kyle credit where credit's due. He's ripped that door open. He's walked through, and he's changed his body. He's got full commitment in it, and I really do hope people look at the transformation. He's inspired me to like try and get myself in better shape as well. Like I've cut out a lot of lot of junk food recently, and I'm like in the best shape I've been in for a long time. But he's inspired me to like get into like a better shape, and like I commend him, and I think a lot of people now look at him and go, we can see this guy's a world champion in a few years. So I feel like I hope a lot of people take inspiration behind that. But I will say it though, like I do miss seeing Aussie Open. So like I hope Kyle does his thing. I know Davis has got injured recently, but it'll only be like a short injury. He'll be back soon. I hope Davis gets a whole run in because he's now got this really cool like Stan Hansen, Steve Williams, Dr. Death look about him. Mm-hmm. So I hope they go off on their separate journeys, but I hope one day Aussie Open does come back.
One last thing I wanted to ask you about Dynasty on Sunday. Obviously, the main event, Swerve Strickland versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. The winner of that obviously will go to All In and face whoever wins the Owen Hart tournament. Let's say that's you. Who do you think? Let me rephrase that. What's the difference between facing Jon Moxley, the most decorated champion in AEW history, versus Swerve Strickland in the main event at All In? What would be the difference between those two matches?
Okay, so the difference would be is that I feel like I need to get my win back with Swerve because that was one of the greatest matches. I honestly think a lot of people would say that's 1A versus 1B, and we needed to find out which one was, and Swerve took number 1. I'd love to get that win back, but I do feel like myself and Swerve are like the new pillars of AEW. Like, I think we are the new... Yeah, I would actually say the new pillars of AEW, the new top guys. So for us to be put in a situation where we would need to show at people, like, this is the new AEW and this is where we're going forward with this thing. Like, put your trust in us and we will deliver. With Moxley, I have no problem saying this, but Moxley's one of the reasons I'm here.
Really?
When Moxley took the microphone and he said, I want the ball, I want. It's time to show. It's time to be a legend. That's what he said. With all the controversy that was around AEW at that time, a man stood in that ring and said, "Follow me, I'll get us there." And I think that should be commended. I think a lot of people need to look at Moxley and thank him for all the work that he's done. He was and is the ace of AEW. I think I'm the new ace of AEW, and it's my time to take the ball. I think that is the old ace versus the new ace, and I think that's a moment in time where I think people would look at that and say this is a new dawn and it's a new era of AEW that's coming in front of us right now.
And you've never wrestled Jon Moxley in AEW before, right?
Not in AEW. I've wrestled him in New Japan, America, and I've wrestled him in a triple threat over in Japan. But the one in America didn't really end well. Okay. It was a referee's mistake.
Oh.
And like there was like basically he hit his finisher, I kicked out, but the referee counted 3, and it was just a kerfuffle. It happens.
So you need your lick back.
I want my lick back more importantly, but I think I don't really care about the lick back. Mm-hmm. I care about AEW.
Yeah,
I care about being the guy now, and I'm sick of seeing the belt in a briefcase. I'll be honest with you. I want to wear that belt with pride, and I want to go on shows like this with the AEW World Championship because it's one of the most beautiful belts in the world.
It's the best looking belt in wrestling.
Exactly. So for me, I want to wear the flag. I'm very passionate towards it, and I have every bit of respect for Moxley. Like every bit of respect. I can't say enough wonderful things about him, but I think it's my time now.
And I think so too. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today, for speaking with me. I wish you best of luck against Kevin Knight on Sunday at Dynasty, and the rest of the Owen Hart tournament as well, and All In.
It's going to be a long tournament, and I hope everyone pays attention and keeps a foot on the gas pedal because the momentum's coming back with AEW. So if you guys aren't doing anything on Sunday, I think there's like just under 1,000 tickets left. So it's AEWTIX.com. And come along and support us because we are the underdog. People don't want AEW to succeed, so let's make pro wrestling succeed.
And AEW, of course, is coming to the Leacore Center this Sunday, April 6th, and will also be available to purchase on pay-per-view. And as Will just said, this event is AEW's Philadelphia pay-per-view debut, and tickets are available right now, limited amount, on AEWTix.com and also Ticketmaster. Awesome. Thank you so much,
Mate,
Will.
thank you so much for this. It was a really good interview. Thank you.
Thank you.